This week, I'm joined by Matt DiBiase. Matt is one of the co-owners of Landing Real Estate, guy that I've known for a long time. You'll hear us talking a little bit about how we're connected, but it was good to talk to him, man. We're in the same business, and he's had a lot of success, and he's one of those people that everyone knows his name and his company. So anytime you can talk to someone like him with his experience and expertise, it's a good thing. I think you'll really enjoy hearing about how he started his company, some of the challenges he faces, some of the advice that he gives to new agents, keys to success, all that sort of stuff. So just a local person that's been very successful, and I'm glad to have on the podcast. So this is the Randy Forcier podcast. If you can do me a favor, as always, subscribe on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. Appreciate you guys checking that out and supporting the podcast. It means the world to me. So here's Matt. Matt DiBiase, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hey, you're welcome, buddy. Happy to do it.
Absolutely, man. We go back, 20-something years to high school sports, high school football. It's kind of fun to see us both in the same industry, get to stay connected that way. But
right,
some rough
24 years.
Man, you guys got lucky and beat us in a football game in South Portland, senior year.
It was a great game. It was a great game. Actually, one of the better games that I played in. So good times.
You beat us by 1 point. You had a big kickoff return. You guys went on to win the state championship.
And then that game gets talked about a lot. That game was
it actually gets talked about. I mean, not that we talk about it that much, but it definitely gets talked about. That I do remember that kickoff though. That was a big thing for us. You know.
To be completely honest with you, it came up this weekend at a social event, and someone brought that kickoff return up. That if you hadn't kicked it to me, you guys would have won. Hands down, would have won.
We had the momentum on our side. I think we were up a touchdown or two going into halftime. Was that the kickoff return coming out of halftime?
No. It was the second quarter. We were down by 14-0, and you guys had all the momentum, and you kicked it to me. So if you hadn't done that, I think you guys would have went on your way to probably a state.
It's funny because there was a kid at the time, that we still talk about because he worked hard in practice, got onto kickoff as like hey, we're going to put you on kickoff and give you an opportunity to play in the playoff game, although he wouldn't play on offense or defense. And I think he got lit up in a block that ultimately led to you scoring the touchdown. We're like, I can't believe that kid was in on that kickoff. So it's funny, man. It was a good game. And then we went on to play in the Lobster Bowl together, which was fun. And that's where I actually got a chance to actually know you.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that we played the Lobster Bowl together, and that was where, in high school we're all rivals and competitors, and then, I got to meet you and hang out with you, and, obviously became friends. And, that was like when we all kind of, got out of our shell a little bit and like I said, met each other. And I remember you were one of my favorite people that I did meet during that week.
Same here. I think our rooms were not far from each other in the dorm, and obviously we were both on offense, and we had a ton of fun doing that. I mean, great memories. Lobster Bowl's changed now. It's not in Biddeford anymore. It's not at UNE anymore. I feel like we were kind of in the middle of its peak, and it's probably still a good time now, but I'm just kind of out of touch with the whole thing since we're so far.
We're getting old.
Yeah, we definitely are. So, good stuff, man. Yeah. But here we are, like you said, 23, 24 years later. You've been in real estate for a very long time. I've been in just a little bit less than you. And like I said, it's cool to stay connected that way. What I wanted to do is talk a little bit about your background, how you got into the business. You own a very prominent company in Maine, so I want to get to how you got there. But let's start at the beginning, man. When did you get into real estate?
So the way I got into real estate is a little different than most. I actually, let me back up even a bit further. So I went to the University of Maine and to play football. And my senior year, I decided to jump into real estate, and I gave up my football career, which wasn't an easy thing to do, obviously. It was during 2003. It was during the real estate boom of the time, and I was around real estate because my stepfather owned a real estate company. So I kind of grew up in a real estate industry company. I mean, from the time I was 8 years old, I was running around a real estate firm. So my senior year in college, I decided to get my license, and I did that going into my senior year, which was 2003, and I got licensed in August of that summer. And so I spent my senior year at UMaine up in Orono selling real estate down in Portland.
Yep.
So I used to come home I think I came home on Wednesdays because I had like a late class on Thursday. So I would drive back to Portland, work, have buyers or listings. I actually did have a listing or 2 listings at that time in Orono. So I would
Oh,
drive
no
home
kidding.
for showings, or get up bright and early on Thursday morning and drive back to Orono for Thursday, Friday classes. And then if I had like an open house that weekend or I had appointments, I'd drive home.
Okay.
If not, I stayed up in Orono and was a regular college student.
Yeah.
So that's how I did my senior year. And then when I graduated, I was kind of, ready to go. I had kind of established a business, and I was kind of off and running already right
Mhm.
when I graduated. So at the time, I was in a very small firm. It was called Direct Real Estate at the time.
I remember.
My stepfather opened that, but he owned a very large company called Peterson Realty back in the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
And then he decided to get real small, and he opened up Direct.
I remember the sign really well, what it looked like, because I'm pretty sure that you had a listing on Main Street in Biddeford. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is way back in the day, but like I remember
Right.
because I don't think we had talked much after Lobster Bowl and you went to college or whatever. But I do remember seeing this sign on Main Street in Biddeford, so I had this awareness that you were in the industry. It was in a window, I believe, of a place. You may or may not remember it, but I did know that that's where you were for a bit.
So
Yeah,
the other funny thing is that logo was UMaine colors. I mean,
yeah, it was.
that's where we came up with it. It was blue, blue and white with a little bit of a dark blue in there. So that was a UMaine color. Yeah, that was the science. That's how I got started back 20 years ago.
Mhm. How long did you work for Direct?
So I worked for Direct for a little under 10 years, if I
No
believe
kidding.
right.
It was that long,
Yeah,
huh? Wow.
yeah, maybe, yeah, 8 to 9, something like that. And
Mhm.
then, yeah, about 9 years. And then at the time, Lisa was my wife at the time. We decided that, to go on our own and we kind of branch out a little bit. We had some different ideas marketing wise. And,
Mhm.
as agents, you kind of grow. And we had always kind of planned on opening up our own firm. So the timing was right. So we decided to go ahead and do it.
So you opened Landing Real Estate.
Yep. Landing real estate.
How'd you come up with that name?
To be completely honest with you, I cannot remember. And I
Mhm.
knew you were going to ask that question. And I
Well, it
couldn't
has to
remember.
be something with planes, right? Or like I just assumed it was like safe landing or something because wings has always been like the thing for
Yeah,
you
so
guys.
the design, which we love now, and if you've
Mhm.
seen our logo, we have like these kind of, they're cool wings. We always have a joke that the wings are everywhere. But when we were doing the initial logo and the design, it was so much back and forth. It was, do we do an eagle? Do we do the
Mhm.
wings or one wing? And it was pretty funny. Even a smaller firm, like we were at the time, fighting about, what we really wanted the logo to look like. And to be honest with you, I'm thrilled with the design that we have. And I can't, to be honest with you, I think our graphic designer at the time came up with those wings.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a big discussion, but thrilled with the wings.
Always thought it came out good. Love the colors, love the logo. It was always seemed like a something different than all the other real estate companies around. All the big national companies, like you stuck out from those other companies with a good name, good logo, solid colors, good brand, I guess.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
always
we
like
we spend a lot of time. Yeah, we spend a lot of time and a lot of effort with our marketing and with the wings and the design and it's something that we really do take a lot of pride in. As our company.
when you guys opened Landing, was it just a handful of you, or was it just you and Lisa, or how did that all go about?
So at the time, we were working with a design company as well. That was kind of an old friend of mine growing up. So she had the design and development part, and Lisa and I had the real estate part of it, and that was kind of the beginning of it.
Mhm.
And then we hired a couple quick agents right off the bat that kind of started with us, and yeah, we stayed pretty small for a good 3 years
Yeah,
before we decided to really get going.
yeah. And now, how many agents are you?
We're right around 70.
No kidding, man.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. That's awesome. 70 is quite a bit. I assume there's some full time. There's probably some that are part time. There's probably support staff, but 70 people is a solid company.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, no, we're excited.
Spread between Portland and Windham now, 2 locations.
No, so we're in South Portland. So
South
we have
Portland.
a Wyndham office that we
Yep.
opened up about 6 years ago.
Yep.
And we were downtown Portland, and then we ended up buying a building in South Portland. And so we're on in South Portland.
That's what I remember your location down in the old port. I mean, it was years ago at this point, but we're in South Portland right now.
We're right on Broadway,
Yep.
right near the bridge.
Yeah. So
780
the
Broadway.
780 Broadway, and then you're right on Roosevelt Trail in Wyndham. We're right off of it, right?
Yeah, we're on Tambrick Trail. We're right off of downtown Windham,
Yeah.
302 and 115 cross.
Yeah. Any thoughts of ever expanding beyond that, or you think like feel good with those two offices and what you have right now?
It's always a conversation that we
Mhm.
have, and we've always been open to it. If the timing is right and the right personnel kind of present themselves or whatever, we'll definitely look into it. We're always, looking to expand and to grow our brand.
Mhm.
We've been very, very smart, I feel, about how we've grown. We haven't gone too fast. We haven't gone too slow. I think we do it when the timing is right and when we feel, comfortable in doing it. So yeah, if it presents itself, then we'll definitely look into it.
How do you guys say you've grown over the years in terms of adding new agents? Is it something that's been very organic? People you've built relationships through the industry? Have you made actual pushes to recruiting, or how's that been?
It's been very organic. It's
Mhm.
really something that we've just slowly grown as like you said, the opportunity presents itself with a great transaction with an agent, or an agent kind of reaches out to us and says, hey, we love your brand and we love your marketing.
Mhm.
So we haven't really pushed it too much. It's just one of those things that, again, like if we feel it, if I have a great transaction with an agent, some of my favorite agents at Landing were agents that I worked with in the past, and I kind of reached out and said, hey, you were great. How about we grab a drink or have a dinner and talk about things,
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's how it works in the business. A lot of
right?
relationships are formed on my end of things by just working with a listing agent that I've never talked to, or even a buyer's agent if a buyer I'm working with is attached to an agent. So that's kind of how I think a lot of relationships form, just finding out that you work well together just by being thrown together on a transaction. So makes sense. Are you selling right now yourself, or are you mostly managing at this point?
Oh no, I'm still selling.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
nothing changed there.
nothing is changing. Just the size of our company, I guess, is the only thing that's changing.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges that you face being that big, having 70 different employees, two locations? Are there anything come to mind?
Yeah, so I would say that's a loaded question right
I'm
there.
sure.
I would say that the biggest thing about owning the company and being the designated broker of a company is, the real estate industry is always changing.
Hmm.
Every day it's a new thing, and it's a seller's market, it's a buyer's market, it's an investor's market. I mean, go back and look at COVID. That was something that was changing every day, and our
Hmm.
rules and regulations and what we were allowed to do. So we're always, as owners, we have to be, on top of it. We have
Hmm.
to know what's going on. We have to know how to relay that to our agents.
Hmm.
And then you add, as an industry, as a company, we have to change with the times. So marketing wise, what's working marketing? What are we doing? What's working? What's not working? What's the new age thing? Because real
Hmm.
estate, again, the way things are presented and the way the internet works and websites and everything is constantly changing. So we just have to always be on top of it, and again, to always try to figure out how to get our agents to succeed, right?
Yep.
We got to
Yep.
help them out. So that's usually the biggest one, where something's always going on.
This industry is always changing. I mean, since I've been on the lending side of things, there's always something different going on year to year, rules and regs and pricing changes and rates changes and things that worked yesterday don't work today. So yeah, I mean, I think to be successful in this business, you have to be able to adapt and kind of roll with those changes. And I'm sure COVID
Oh,
forced a bunch of them too, and this market's forcing even more. So
oh, definitely. I mean, and then look at the different demographics between agents. You
mhm,
got a wide array of agents, right? You got the 18-year-old who just got their license, who's all ready to go,
mhm,
excited, and ready to conquer the world. And you got the seasoned agent, and they know they know how to do things, but they still have questions. So the conversations on a hour by hour basis are different.
yeah, I'm sure. Do you guys skew a little bit younger with your agents, or do you
Yeah,
track
we
that?
have.
Like, I mean, at this point, we're all getting so old, it seems like, but it always seemed like there was a younger agent at Landing.
Yeah, we've kind of tended to hire towards that younger agent, because obviously when I opened up, Landing, I was, 30, 31, something like
Mhm.
that. So I was, I guess, relatively young at the time.
Yeah.
So that kind of worked its way out. And, as the agents that we hire, some are newer or some are just younger. That's kind of where we found our niche. We have a few niches, but that's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely attract people that are like you. So if you're 30 years old, you're probably going to attract people that are 30 years old, plus or minus. You're probably not going to attract a bunch of 70-year-old agents in their last stop of their career. So it makes sense. Although you may have some of those too. But I mean, it all makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And yeah, we definitely have some older agents, which kind of rounds it out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you said you're doing some new marketing. We talked a little bit about the fact that you guys are putting together a podcast. Tell me a little bit about that.
So we've teamed up with a local company called Local Image, and they specialize obviously in social media marketing, print marketing. We've really just tried to revamp a lot of our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to stay current with the times, whether it's podcasts or reels, and at the same time change up our print marketing a little bit, put a little different flair on it, keep it relative. And so, yeah, we're real excited about it. They're younger and they speak a little bit differently than we do, which makes the meetings kind of fun to listen to.
Sure.
Yeah, they use terms that I've never heard before. So that tells me that, we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're real excited about it. And I think it's something that needs to be done. You can't just keep doing the same thing for 30 years, right? You got to keep it new.
Did you host the first podcast that you did? Or were you even involved with being on it? Or how'd that go?
It was with me and Lisa. So Lisa's my co-owner. And we did one together and they were pretty excited about it. So I haven't seen the final results. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it was fun to do. And I guess if you're not doing new things and if you're not uncomfortable, then you're not growing, right? So
100%.
it makes sense.
That's why I do the podcast. That's one of the reasons why I do the podcast. It's not, I was telling you off air, it's not like I have any background on this or know what I'm doing. It's definitely even still an uncomfortable situation 66 episodes in. But like you said, if you're not making yourself uncomfortable, you're not growing. So good for you guys for doing it. I hope it goes well. You're going to be doing it on a monthly basis or weekly basis, or how often do you think you'll be doing that part of things?
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think definitely like kind of monthly things, but no, it's exciting. It's something again completely different than what I've been doing over the years.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to kind of do a whole new thing and change up my social media marketing and stuff like that. So
Totally. What's been some of your keys to success as a realtor, as a business owner? Anything that you'd be open to sharing?
I would say it's kind of like a 4-letter word, right? Work.
Mm-hmm.
I always joke around and, I love to work. I really do. I'm always in the office. I treat it like a 9 to 5 job, or 8 to 6, if you really want to look at it. And, I'm as aggressive and proactive as I can be. I've always said to my agents and myself when I was starting out was being the proactive agent, going out, finding the business. Don't wait for the business to come to you. Your phone is not going to ring. Right?
Yeah.
Unless you put something out there, at least in the universe, for to call you back. The old joke in real estate when I started was, here's your desk, here's your phone, kind of good luck. So I've always been, taught to go out and again make the phone ring, whether it's phone calls or mailers or emails or social media marketing. Do whatever you possibly can do to get your phone to ring.
Yeah.
And then growing the business, again, I kind of think it goes the same way. We're constantly doing things as a company. Lisa does a great job with the Greater Portland Board. She's the president right now of the Greater Portland Board.
Yep.
We're always doing social events with golf and any kind of mastermind meeting that we can do. We're constantly trying to train our agents how to succeed, right? And put themselves out there. So I would say we're just trying to get out there and to do what we can.
I remember you guys did an event called Hops for Heat. I think you might have done that a few years. I don't even know if you still do it, but I remember it being a good event, but COVID might have messed that up a little bit. Did you guys ever pick that back up, or is that something that stayed with COVID?
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to talk to you off air, but yeah, we do a golf tournament. Last year was our first one that we did at Nonesuch, and then we're doing one this year in September. It's a great event with United Way. We kind of team up and we fund people who have a hard time with heat and things like that in the wintertime. So it really is a great event, and that's definitely one of the ones that we really are proud of, I guess is the right word I'm looking for. And I think last year we raised like $20,000. I think was a number I heard.
Awesome.
And this year we should have
through all fundraisers that you did throughout the year.
The golf event
That's
and
great.
the fundraisers for that specific event. And unfortunately, last year it rained. It downpoured. So this year, hopefully, we'll do a whole lot better.
Are you doing it at Nonesuch again this year?
Yeah, I think September 18th is the date. If you
It's
want to,
awesome,
you want to
man.
write that down.
Definitely, definitely. Love playing some golf. So, do you play a lot of golf?
I really don't. I just kind of show up to the scrambles that we sponsor. We got a couple really good golfers at Landing,
Do you
and
really?
uh, and I'll be honest with you. I kind of show up. I hit. They'll probably use 5 or 6 of my shots, maybe at most,
Yeah.
and we usually do pretty good because we got some really good players.
No kidding. I
Luckily,
didn't realize that. Oh, that's good. Hey,
yeah,
I'm no different. Just I'm usually the fourth guy, letting everyone else carry me. But it's fun to hang out and do it. So if you have some good guys representing Landing, why not?
right.
Yeah. How's the market been for you guys this year? Same as everyone else? Sure. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's been it's been a crazy market. It's definitely a seller's market. Nothing has really changed.
Mhm.
Prices are up, sales are down, but depending on where you're looking, where you're buying, again, we're constantly out there trying to make deals happen. So luckily, I know that our numbers are above the average for sales right now. And if you look at the percentages as a company, we're right where we want to be, and we're right where we kind of were last year.
Yep.
So again, we're doing exactly what we want to do, and it's fun. You have some agents that are up, and then you have some new agents that are up this year, and it's kind of fun to watch them all kind of grow, and maybe they have a life event and then they come back, kind of guns blazing the next month or something like that. So we're right where we want to be, and yeah, we're having a great year again.
Yeah. Anything that you're noticing for buyers that's working particularly well, or it's just the same old grind that all buyers are doing to multiple offers, hoping they can present the best face? You see anything different out there?
Yeah, so a lot of it has to do with financing, right?
Yeah.
And what kind of financing they have, or what maybe a new program that they're kind of getting into.
Hmm.
We do a lot of off-market deals as a
Yeah.
company. We really do try to keep a lot of things with ourselves,
Hmm.
and we talk to the sellers and say, hey, this is something you want to do. So we're able to do a lot of deals like that, which we
Yep.
really take a lot of pride into. But yeah, as buyers, just you kind of get out there, and if they don't accept your offer, it wasn't meant to be, right?
Yeah.
If it's not the house for you, and that's kind of unfortunately the motto that you got to kind of take in a tough market like this.
Hmm.
If they don't accept it, then you're on to the next one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's no doubt. There's just that's you can really just set expectations with people and try to do what you can. But if it doesn't work out, it's on to the next one. But for that reason, I am seeing a lot more private sales or sales where it's off market and the seller isn't necessarily putting it out to market where they're going to get a bunch of different offers. So you actually have a really good opportunity at it. Seeing a lot of buyers getting pushed to new construction, like subdivision type stuff where there's less competition. It's just a matter of agreeing to the price that the builder is willing to do it for and then waiting your 4, 5, 6 months for it to be complete. So the stuff that's just like a normal single family home looking to close in 30, 45 days, that stuff's challenging. I'm still seeing, or at least hearing, that there's a lot of cash out there. I don't know if you're seeing a lot of cash buyers in the markets that you're working in, but I do hear that. So it's tough to compete with cash as a finance buyer.
Yeah, it definitely is, obviously, right? Cash is king.
Hmm.
And there is a ton of people that that do have cash, or at least have a lot of money to put down, right? If they're making a lot more in their house when they sell it, theoretically have a lot more money to put down. And then, yeah, like you said, the new builds or off market deals, or, again, then it does come back to the agent, that's working with you, because they got to be able to go out and do something different,
Hmm.
right? You can't just wait for an open house, go look at the open house, and then compete one of 30 offers, right? Your odds are pretty low at that point. So we kind of joke at our company and at Landing and said, shake the tree. Shake
Hmm.
the tree, see what falls out, make the phone calls, go door knocking. If they want a specific area, go knock on that area, right?
Yeah.
Go shake the tree a little bit. And we've been very successful with it. And it's been a fun kind of model that we've used.
It's not for everybody, man, but I have heard people have success. I've seen people that I work with have done that. Just hit up a neighborhood, knock on some doors, have a conversation with someone. I mean, people are all hiding behind their phones and their computer screens all the time. So if you get a chance to talk to someone face to face, you never know where that conversation will lead. So I know it's an uncomfortable situation. It kind of gets back to what we were talking about before, making yourself uncomfortable, but it works. It really does.
It really does, and you hit on it, but be proactive. Again, we've always used that approach, and your phone is not going to ring. And if you have a buyer who wants to be in a specific area, well, then go make something happen, right? Go get that house.
Yeah. So Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It's fun to, catch up after all these years, follow you on social media, stay in touch, see all the success you're having. I mean, doing a hell of a job building that team of 70 people. Landings sounds like it's in a strong position right now. So it's good stuff.
Thank you very much, Ben. Yeah, absolutely. It was good talking to you.
And I'll look for your podcast. I'll make sure I share it and see if we can spread the word.
All right. Love it. Thank you very much.
All right, bud. We'll be in touch. See you.